Welcome to today's episode of the Love and Light Show, where your special guest, Tania Hart, is here to help us live an orgasmic life. So I'm super, super excited for this episode and all the wonderful wisdom she has to share with us today, and especially the beautiful guided meditation at the end that will help and support us connect with our womb and our heart center and our chakra. So I'm so excited for that. And be sure that when you hop on live or on the replay, you say hi to us, because we are on the Be Live platform, so we can't see you as you pop on. So definitely say hi. Let us know how you're doing on this beautiful Monday. And this is the Love and Light Show, where every Monday at 1 Atlantic, 12 Eastern, 9 Pacific, we share different light workers and healers and badass coaches and heart-centered entrepreneurs with you, so that you guys can see and connect with the people who are right for you to support you on your journey, for you to get different tidbits and tips and tricks and strategies and meditations and clearing energies that support you on your journey, so that you can be the change that you want to see in the world, so that we can all shift and change and grow and expand on this beautiful journey together, and so that we can be the change in our lives, that we know that it starts with us, and that by being the change and embodying it and being at that vibration ourselves, we're changing the whole vibration of the world. And we're also being that light to our friends and our family member and our community at large. And by doing all this work, we're of course raising the vibration of the planet, which is so beautiful and awesome. And we have two people who are joining us now, so definitely say hi. I love connecting with you guys. So hello, Denise, and hi, Debbie. Awesome. It is a gorgeous day. I hope you're having a beautiful day. And I'm Laura McPhee. I'm a joyful goddess, and I love empowering women to step into their dream happy lives through self-love and care, so that they can actually look in the mirror and love themselves without that negative voice being super critical and saying this or that's wrong with you, or that this is bad, or you need to fix this, that you can just let go of all those judgments and fully love and accept yourself, be compassionate and gentle with yourself, and really enjoy your life. So one of the ways that I'm doing that is through the Self-Love and Care 5-day challenge, and that's starting today. So if you want to get in on that, you can start today, and it's in the Be Your Best Self community. I'll be sure to put a link to that in the comments afterwards, so you guys can just click on that. But it's in the Be Your Best Self community, so we can all share and expand on this amazing journey together. And our beautiful guest today is an empowerment coach. She has so many amazing tools. She's a sensual empowerment coach and teacher who's so passionate about bringing women back to their sensuality and their sovereign selves. So I'm so excited to introduce our special guest today. How are you doing?
Hi, I'm doing really good. Really excited to be here with you, Laura. Thank you again for having me.
Yay. Thank you so much. I'm so excited for today's episode.
Me
Like, I met
too.
you
I love
through,
this topic.
yes. It's like amazing how we met too, because I was talking to friends and stuff about living more and more of like blissfully happy lives and like having more of that orgasmic energy in our everyday life. And then I saw a post through the beautiful Karen Melendi's group, the Spiritual Goddesses Healing the World Together. And it was all about orgasmic living. And I'm like, I have no idea who you are, but I need to connect with you. And this is just so like divinely timed and beautiful and magic.
Exactly.
And I needed to know more about this like whole new level and vibration of life to live at. So I'm so excited for you to share that with us. And anyone who's tuning in who you know someone needs this message of living an orgasmic life, of really enjoying and having these sensual pleasures in our lives. And it's not all like sexual, guys. It's also just fully living in our lives and enjoying it, because we get to choose a joyfully happy life. We get to choose freedom and bliss and happiness and fulfillment day to day, and it's a choice. And if you're tuning into this, then you're definitely choosing that higher vibration. So I'm so excited for you to share a little bit more about your story and how to live that orgasmic life.
Yes, and I love that how you said that it's not all about sex and all of this.
Yes.
What I have done for myself and what I do for the women that I work with is really getting them back into their bodies and really allowing them to feel their power in an authentic and real way. Because what has happened, especially for women, is that we have lived very numb lives.
Yes.
So something happens in our life when we're growing up, something shameful or some sort of emotion that really, really, really affects us, and we don't really want to face it. And so we stop living in our bodies and we really start to begin living in our heads. And what happens is that we cut ourselves off from truly feeling into the moment and experiencing life turned on. And when I say turned on, I don't mean in the sexual way, but I mean like really like you're able to feel the moment to moment living and feel the sensations that arise and able to interact with the world that way. And so what happens is that we numb ourselves off from it. And so there's a lot of lethargic, lethargic living, a lot of depressed living, anxious living. When really, when we're in our bodies, it's this. There's moments of sadness, of course, but
Yep.
it's a turned on type of living, and that's really
Yes.
what I love to do, and what I love to help others, because I suffered from body dysmorphia for a very, very long time. I started when I was very young, and what happened is with that mentality is that I felt so disgusted with my body, so
Mhm.
disgusted from looking at it, so disgusting from associating with it. So I really disconnected myself from this part, and I really started living in the upper realms. I started living in my head, and in the imaginational realm, and in the realm of it's amazing, it's fun, but
Mhm.
it's not complete. And
Right.
so when I started to understand that I wasn't truly actually living, I was just existing, I started getting back into my body with different practices, and started seeing the trauma and the shame that was there. And then, I still go through processes of it. And so, and when I clear, I'm able to really fully experience the moment as it is. And because that's what life is, right? Life is living
Yes.
in this moment, it's being here, it's being guided in this moment. Go here, go there. And when you're in tune with yourself, you're able to hear those calls, and you're
Mhm.
able to really experience life in this like juicy and fun way. And
Yes.
that's a little bit of how I got to here.
That's wonderful. And I love that. Like, there's so many different like words and phrases. Like, I love to use lit up, but turned on is really good. Like the hell yes living. Like, there's so many
Mm-hmm.
different like words to like embody it, I feel, because a lot of different people feel like the busy but good is like how they should always respond to how are you? And it's like you could just live a fantastic lit up, completely joyful, like turned on life. And more people need to be showing that and shining their light on that and being like, you don't need to do the like mainstream numbed out way that so many people have taught us. And I remember learning a lot of stuff, especially through like Brene Brown's work of like the numbing scale, that like if you're not going to feel the bad emotions and you don't want to go into like the anger or the sorrow or the loss or the grief or the rage or any of the like labeled bad emotions, then you're not going to feel as much on this side of the
Mm-hmm.
happiness. And for a long time, I was like, yeah, happy's awesome. And now that I've gotten to like joyful and like blissful, like lit up,
Right.
awesome, fucking incredible states, I'm like, who wants just happy? Like, why are we just settling for happy sometimes, guys? Like, there's so much more available to us. So then, whenever that work comes up to be like, oh, like inner child work or hard work or leaning into those more negative emotions that we've wanted to numb out to, I'm like way more excited to do that now because my brain's
Mm-hmm.
changed the perspective, being like,
Right.
it's like the scale, it's like the spectrum of life. So if I'm desiring to feel more and more joy and higher vibration energy
Mm-hmm.
in my life consistently, then of course I'm going to go into those emotions because emotions move too. So it's not like a scary thing. So I want to like disprove that for anyone who's like, but it's so bad to like go into like sadness or anger and all these things. And like, I
Right.
get it. I used to hate anger and be like, I never get angry. I'm a good girl. I'm fine. But that's not
Yeah.
healthy to like suppress
No.
those things.
Right, and I totally get it. I used to be so afraid of tapping into those emotions, because especially like
Mm-hmm.
when you feel so deeply, it's like, oh, you feel it in your entire core and every cell. And so I
Mm-hmm.
totally understand. I used to numb myself off from those emotions as well. But you
Mm-hmm.
cannot experience that blissful feeling. You can experience true joy and contentment if you don't experience the other spectrum. It's not
Yeah.
going to be real. It's not going to be, it's not going to feel good. And you're just creating blockages in your body, because every emotion comes up for you to feel, and then
Yes.
feel it, express it in whatever way is healthy and empowering for you, and then letting it go. And so then
Yes.
when we stop ourselves from feeling a certain emotion, it gets stuck somewhere. And for women, it really gets stuck in the breast, the womb. And can I say pussy on this
Yeah, go
show?
for it. Yes.
Okay.
Fuck yes.
So it can get stuck in the heart, the womb, and the pussy. And so there's a lot of tension, a lot of numbness, a lot of pain in those areas for women. And
Mm-hmm.
so when we really tap back into our bodies and allow ourselves to feel it, do certain practices, we're able to release those emotions, so we
Mm-hmm.
can start feeling the whole spectrum of this beautiful human life because we wouldn't come here if we didn't want to experience this, right? We wouldn't have decided
Yes.
to come to the human realm if we didn't truly want to experience sadness, and anger is a huge one. I love how you said the good girl, the good girl
Yes.
syndrome.
Yep.
I was like, no, anger. I don't know what that is. I
I
haven't
never get
experienced
pissed
that.
off. I just get really, really sad inside about it.
I totally resonate with you there. Like, since I'm starting, expressing my anger in the past few years, it feels really good, and it feels like,
Mhm.
like it feels there is a passion emotion. They're very similar. When you feel passion,
Mhm.
anger is very similar to that. And so to really make peace with that bitch in me, that angry, just hell
Mhm.
bent, collie energy in me, and it feels
Yeah.
really good.
Awesome. And Michelle's loving it too. She sent us a little love eye emoji. Awesome. I love that it's resonating, Michelle. um, and how do you help people? What were those 3 sensual practices that get people more into this orgasmic living lifestyle?
Well, one of them is breast massage.
Nice.
And the way that I teach it is a very intuitive way of doing it, but you
Mhm.
could just grab some oil, maybe after a bath, or, to start your day, and you just give yourself a massage for,
Mhm.
3 to 5 minutes if you don't have, the time. Um,
Mhm.
you can give yourself a breast massage, and what that does is that it not only works on like it clears the lymphatic nodes and really the physical stuff, but it also energetically
Mhm.
clears the heart, because the breast and the heart are connected. And so
Mhm.
the more that you give your breast love, I know there's this very interesting connection that we have with our breast as women. Like, we're
Mhm.
taught that it's sexual, and we're taught that it's for it should look a certain way, it should be very pleasing, and so push-up bras are a thing. But then at the same time, we're like, don't. At the same time, they're like, don't show your breasts, don't show your nipple,
Yeah.
it's wrong. So it's this very like, so there's a lot of
Mhm.
a lot of pain with the breast, a lot of disconnection with the breast. And
Yeah.
so when you give yourself that massage, when you give yourself that love, you start to release emotions that can be locked in the heart, and
Mhm.
you become more sensitive and more alive when it comes to the breast area, the heart area. And so that is like one practice that I'm like, yes, every woman needs to give herself a juicy breast
Awesome.
massage, at least like 3 times a week. Like, it's like a doctor prescription. Here you
Yes.
go.
Here's the
And
key to happier life. It's
exactly,
like
breast massage.
sexual self-care is so important too. And that's a big piece that I feel like isn't talked about even in the self-care world, is like how to bring that side to it. It's like, let's do all the things externally on a checklist, like go to yoga or drink a green drink, which is awesome. And I love doing those things too. But especially because women in particular disassociate from our bodies, it's really healthy to bring that love and connection back to our physical bodies.
Definitely, it's like, without it, there's always going to be a missing piece when it comes to holistic living. Without that
Mhm.
kind of sensual and sexual practice,
Mhm.
because life is sexual energy, life is sensual energy. We
Mhm.
were created for that, and so when we incorporate that back into our lives, it creates a more whole piece for us. And
Mhm.
breast massage is a safe way to do it. If Because I know there's a lot of story around, our bodies, around sensuality, around sexuality, and
Mhm.
so it's a nice place to start,
Yeah.
connecting back to that place within you. Mhm. And another
Wonderful.
practice that I love is just dancing, like every
Mhm.
day, 2, 3 minutes, a song. If you want to go deeper into like 20 minutes, but just
Mhm.
shaking out any stagnant energy that you have in your, or like around your field and your body, shaking it out, moving it,
Mhm.
especially for women, moving the hips, because
Yeah.
it really accesses our sacral, like whoop, and lights it up, and makes it feel
Awesome.
yes.
Mhm.
So I love dancing,
Me
and
too.
it's not about how you look, it's about how you feel when you're doing it. And so
Yes.
closing your eyes is a good thing I love to do, and just moving and just feeling how you want to move, and not necessarily how it
Mhm.
looks, just the feeling of it. And then where does your body want to take you? Where's the journey that it wants to go?
Mhm.
And
I love that. I'm just
and
curious. Have you heard of 5 rhythm dance?
no.
Okay.
What is
Just I'm going to encourage anyone who resonates with that, just like a little tidbit, to Google or YouTube 5 rhythm, because I did
five
that.
rhythm?
Yeah. I did that when I was at Life and Health Mastery in Florida a couple of months ago. And it was all about like just getting into our bodies and just moving and like the
Mm-hmm.
feeling of that. Like I used to like dance, like I would dance at like a club or something. I just like really liked dancing to like music like that. But then I've been since then getting way more in touch with my body and doing more like the divine feminine flow with it and doing a lot slower music. And then like now I have this beautiful blend of sometimes I do my old way and sometimes I do my new way. Sometimes I blend them all together. And it's
I
so
love that.
incredible to like connect that deeply and love my body and be like, I'm moving in just like this beautiful connected way to my body. So I'm just throwing it out there.
I'm gonna Google that after.
Yes,
Five
I highly
rhythm.
recommend it. Yes.
And I love how you mentioned the fast movement or the slow movement, because there's such a difference. Fast movement is if you want to feel that energized, that
Yes.
more fire, masculine energy. It's great. Like fast
Mhm.
movement's amazing for that. And then the slow is really just getting into it and it's feeling everything. It's more of the water. It's more of the
Yes.
feminine. Just like,
Hmm.
you know. So
Yep.
I love that too.
Hmm.
Those
I
two
totally
little.
danced in like the waves of the ocean after. I was like, oh my God, this is the best thing ever. And then I was like, I need to keep dancing. So I love that you like connected it to water because I'm like, yes, it was way more flowy, like free, like movement. It was awesome.
I could just imagine you just, yeah,
Yes.
getting into it. I love that. And I love the next practice that I like to encourage, because we already do it every day. We
Hmm.
already do this and I think men as well, like self care. It's lotion. It's when you lotion yourself, or I use an oil with essential oils. So when you get out of
Nice.
the bath,
Hmm.
um, you are getting ready. You're going to put your lotion on, and instead of just like la 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 and done, you
Yeah.
really like intentionally take the lotion in your hand and you rub it, between your palms, and you slowly caress your body. You slowly adorn yourself with the lotion or the oil, and you can even do like little massages as you go along. But you really take that time to love your body that way, by
Hmm.
giving it that nourishment of lotion or oil, and just doing it
Yes.
everywhere, really being intentional with it and present with it. Because
Hmm.
a lot of the things that we do every single day, we it becomes so habitual that it can be something that you just like go through it, and then like 5 minutes you're like, did I do all of that? Like, did I
Hmm.
do, it becomes like
Super
sort of
subconscious.
yeah, so it's like something that you sometimes you might not be aware of. So when you place that awareness into something that you do every single day that can be, described as mundane, it
Hmm.
brings that life back to it. It brings the sensation back to it, and it's no
Hmm.
longer just this thing that you go through, this motion that you complete. It becomes
Yes.
intentional, and so that's when you really feel it. So really giving yourself that love by lotioning yourself, oiling yourself that way, and it
Hmm.
feels so good. I feel
It
like
does. It's like a
I
mini
feel
spa
like,
treatment.
yeah, I know exactly. I feel like the goddess afterwards. I'm like, oh my
Hmm.
goodness. I'm like shining. My cheeks are rosy, and I'm like,
Yes.
it feels like.
I love that. And it is something that people always do. And it's like just bringing that different awareness and intention to it is that little 2 millimeter shift that will support them in their life. Like instead of it being this self care to do list thing where they're like, okay, I've done this and I've done this. It's like, but I don't feel lit up and I don't feel fulfilled by it. I just like did it because it's on my list and I feel like I have to. Another one of those like spiritual good girl things where it's like check, check, check. I don't feel fulfilled by doing any of this, but I'm just going through the motions. It's bringing that awareness. And I love that you bring that up because that was one of the first practices I learned on the spiritual journey, being like, yeah, like press your face, like feel how smooth your face feels. Be grateful for how amazing your skin feels connected to your other skin. Like when you're brushing your hair, because we have to touch our hair every day, feel your hair, like love and appreciate your body as you're doing all of this and be just so like pouring in that like gratitude and love to it because then it feels like a fulfilling experience instead of just being like I'm done
Right,
next thing, next thing, next thing, how can I be busy?
right, exactly. Like
Hmm.
it's all about how you do the things in your life, right?
Yes.
And so everything can be very intentional, everything can be very sensual, everything can be pleasurable, but
Yes.
it's how aware are you when you're doing these things?
Hmm.
How how aware are you of your body and of the sensations as you do these things. And
Mm-hmm.
so in this busy, society that we've created,
Mm-hmm.
um, we've lost that touch of that simplicity.
Right.
Everything we desire the obvious, like we desire this flashy stuff, and we desire,
Mm-hmm.
enlightenment is going to be this huge, big, flashy thing. When really it's
Yeah.
like being, present and being in the moment and
Mm-hmm.
seeing how you respond to life and life responds to you in that way. And
Yes.
that's what essential living is really getting back to the body and
Mm-hmm.
creating harmony between the upper and the lower to really to access that juicy point in life. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
I love that. And I love that when we first talked, you told me about like brushing your teeth and feeling great about it. Cause like
Yes.
that's always been something that I hated to do. Like I feel like I still have some junk to clear from like childhood stuff on like brushing my teeth. But like when you said that you can bring it even into like those moments, I was like, yeah, like now when I'm brushing my teeth, I'm going to set the intention that I like feel and I'm present. And it's like you can have the best experience brushing your teeth. And it's like when you bring your attention and you like set it every day. Like I set my intention every day when I get up to like blah 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 all the different things. Like one that I typically use is I set my intention to learn my lessons with ease, speed, grace, joy, and love. And then that shows up in my life. Or I'll ask my higher power, God, creator, source, the universe, whatever you want to call it, for a life today that has much peace and joy and love in it. And how can I show up being that loving being and loving to myself and to others? So I love that just by bringing those intentions to it, we can have such
Yes.
incredible lives.
Yes, our life is all about intention, whether consciously or unconsciously. And so
Mm-hmm.
either your intentions are being created out of subconscious beliefs, or your intentions are being created from conscious. I'm going to create this right now. I'm going to have
Mm-hmm.
this kind of day, and it's our decision as manifestors,
Yes.
as goddesses, as creatresses.
Yes.
We get to decide how we want to live, and yeah. I
Mm-hmm.
choose intentional. I choose
Yes,
sensual.
definitely. For sure. So yeah, let us in the comments below know what your intention is for today, or just even set it for
Mm.
yourself. Be like, this is my intention for joy or freedom or orgasmic living, whatever you want your intention to be set for. I'd be so excited to like learn that, especially for catching the replay, because I love to engage with you guys after the show too. And Charles says, hi from the UK. Hello from
Hi,
across
Charles.
the
How are
pond.
you?
Very cool. So how do you encourage other people to like shift their perspective from pleasure or orgasmic living being like more the like sexual side to like just being like
Mhm.
you can enjoy. It's just
Right.
pleasure. You don't need to
Yes.
associate all the like marketing blah 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 negative stuff to pleasure. Pleasure can just
Mhm.
be pleasure.
Mhm. Well, it has to do with our beliefs and how we see it. So,
Mm-hmm.
what I encourage is, what are your beliefs about pleasure? What are your beliefs about being able to receive pleasure? What are your beliefs about having, a joyful, ecstatic life? Do you
Yeah.
feel worthy of it? Does it bring up guilt when you take time to enjoy yourself in any way?
Mm-hmm.
That's very common for women about doing something for themselves
Mm-hmm.
that bring out that good feeling in them. Like they're like, you know what, I have too many things I have to take care of. You know, my spouse, I have to take care of my family, I have to take care of my job, I have to, they're always putting that kind of restriction on themselves. So really just like, what is pleasure for you? What lights you up?
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel guilty doing it? How much can you expand your awareness of pleasure and of
Mm-hmm.
orgasmic living? Because we have been conditioned to think of pleasure as just a sexual thing,
Right.
and and so when we are living our lives, we're not, I don't want to say searching for pleasure, but we're not looking for pleasure in a way and
Mm-hmm.
things that can come that bring pleasure to us. We're not really our mentality is not tuned into that. And then
Right.
when sex comes along, then we go into the pleasure mode of like, oh, this is bringing me pleasure, sort of
Mm-hmm.
that. It's really how we see pleasure. And so, again, making an intention throughout the day of, I'm going to notice the small ways that pleasure can come into my life
Yeah.
Whether that's through, a cup of tea, a conversation with a friend,
Mm.
the smell, fresh, like the fresh air,
Yeah.
the touch of a leaf or a flower, like really opening yourself up to how can I experience the most pleasure
Mm.
today, and really seeing what can come up for you.
Yes.
Because also with when it comes to sex and pleasure, is that there is this mentality of like, let's get to the finish line,
Right.
let's get to the orgasm.
Let's result orient every part of our life instead of just
Right,
literally being present and enjoying the journey.
right, right. And it's a very masculine way of living, and we've just gone too towards the masculine of like results and building and this, and it's great. Like society
Mhm.
would crumble if we did not
Yeah.
have, the masculine side of living.
Mhm. But
But it's
balance,
time for,
enjoyment
yeah,
needs to
it's
come
time
in
for us
way
to
more.
go. Yeah, it's time to go towards, and I feel like there's a stereotype of like Europeans do this, like they enjoy more,
Mhm.
um, like Italians and Greeks. Like there is this kind of
Yeah.
like when you see in like television, and I don't know if it's really like that, but there is that portrayal of like there are certain cultures that are able to experience where like when they're eating, they're enjoying and they're
Yes.
laughing and they're drinking wine, and
Mhm.
they're completely present to it, and so we do know how
Yes.
to do it. We just especially in like North America, we've just gone too much one way, and so it's just
Yeah.
time to slowly
Integrate
walk
some
back.
other stuff
Right,
that
exactly.
makes us really happy.
Right, exactly. And so even with when it comes to when you're either self pleasuring or having sex with your partner, or the two partners, how
Mhm.
I don't know your lifestyle, enjoy. Um, to really just be present with what's going on and not focus on the goal of orgasm, and
Right.
to just how when you touch yourself for a certain way, how does that feel? Ooh, that feels nice,
Mhm.
let me do it again in a different rotation.
Mhm.
When your partner touches you a certain way, ooh, that feels really good.
Mhm.
Can you do that again, maybe a little softer or maybe a little harder, but just having
Yes.
fun and playing with pleasure and playing with when you're in a sexual experience, because that's
Mhm.
really also one of the fastest ways to rewire our brain for pleasure. And that's when you're in a sexual experience, whether with yourself or with a partner or two, being present to it, being in the body and seeing what comes up, and really understanding that it's not just about the orgasm, it's about the journey, it's about the entire experience. And that can really fast track your mind into seeing pleasure in a different way, and seeing pleasure outside of the bedroom or the kitchen, or wherever
Mhm.
you decide to have some loving times.
Exactly. And I love that you bring up the playfulness of it, because I feel like that's a big part that's missing, because some people
Mm,
have the perception that like we're never taught how to do anything in the bedroom or wherever. Like
mhm,
it's just like it's
mhm,
something that you need to be excellent at from the get-go, or you need to be super ashamed of, but we're never going to teach you
right.
anything. And if you try to learn, you're weird. Like it's this
Right.
really weird dynamic. But I really enjoy the like perspective of just being playful with it, like laughing, not being super serious and not focusing on that outcome, and being like, how can I make this more enjoyable, and like connect with your partner and doing so in a fun way so that no one's feeling like,
Mhm,
oh, I could do something bad. Like there's nothing bad.
mhm.
Like stop
Right, right,
labeling things bad, because then that gets people in fear and they
right.
don't want to experience new things and they don't want to be open to stuff. So just be like,
Mhm,
make a fun scale. Be like, does this feel better than what we did before? Like, does
mhm,
this touch feel different in what way? Like, how can we
mhm,
incorporate all these different feelings and like temperatures and textures and all the different things that you can do
mhm,
and make it more and more enjoyable. So sometimes people like a rating scale and be like, I like to communicate to my partner on a scale of 1 to 10. Like, this was a 10. How can we get it to a 12? Like,
mhm,
looking
mhm,
at it in that way instead of being like, what they've been doing has been kind of mediocre and I want something better than mediocre. So I'm going to tell them that they're
mhm,
bad. It's like, no, you don't need to ever
mhm,
frame it in a bad way. Like, I don't really like using
mhm,
the word bad because it's always
mhm,
just lessons. It's like, okay,
mhm,
this like that touch was like a 1 for me. So how can we bring more intensity or pleasure to that? Or could you tickle, or could you like incorporate new things that bring up the pleasure in that to get to 5 or 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and just play with it as if it's like a fun game of discovery, because you're discovering someone else's likes and dislikes, their body and what their body responds to. So I like the play framing of it for sure.
Yes. And the more that you have that frame of play, then the more you'll start to see that what once was a 1 in a certain feeling, the same touch can turn into a 6. Because what happens with our bodies, because we've disconnected for so long, is that it sometimes, for me especially, my journey has, I used to require really hard touch to feel anything. Otherwise, someone could be touching me like this, and I'd be like, let's, is someone, I didn't feel it because I had numbed myself, so my skin became numb. So the more that you play with it, and the more that you go deeper into the touch, into the soft touch, then your body becomes more sensitive. Yeah. So the one touch becomes like a 10. Oh my god! Like there's, so it's that playful energy. You can bring that as well.
Definitely.
Open that up for
I love that. And we're going to get into the meditation for a second, but this came up in my own journey from being like, oh, there's something wrong with me because like I was molested when I was younger and had all these negative stuff and built it up, and the framework of, oh, it's just like this iceberg of like trauma and badness and all these things that have just been built, to like being like, well, how can I melt this? How can I work on the next layer that's coming up and feel more safe in this and feel more pleasure in this and have blissfully awesome sex and get to the place where I feel just super turned on in my life and get really excited about these things. So it's like a stage. I love that you said like through your journey as well, because some people, especially women, I feel tend to beat themselves up because they hide and have a lot of shame over what they feel is wrong with them. Another one of those words I don't like to like label, because labels are terrible and it makes people feel horrible about themselves, but that's the thing. So if you're listening to this and you feel like you don't orgasm, or it's so hard for you to orgasm, or all these things are happening, like let that go. Be super gentle with yourself. There's just some things to work on and heal. There's things to play with so you can find more and more pleasure in your life and just work on warming yourself up more and more so that those light touches do feel like crazy, like you never would have thought before. But it's just going along that journey and being in that flow where you're guided so that you can get to that place, which is so worth all the little bits and pieces of the work. Like, I get it. The work can be hard sometimes, and I like to mostly do work through love and joy, but it's like sometimes it's hard. Sometimes you have to cry and go through some stuff and trauma and stuff and heal from things, but it's always, always, always so worth it on the other side. And it feels so good on the other side to do all of this.
Right. It's all for at the end of the day, like your betterment and your benefit. And I know like sometimes it can feel really icky, especially shame. It's such an icky emotion.
Yeah.
But it's that shame. You are not your shame. You're not you are not that trauma. And the more that we go in there, and the more that we really give ourselves that love and compassion and that patience, because like sometimes it takes time. Sometimes it happens really quick. It really depends. And just having that compassion as we release the stuff, the things that really no longer serve us, the things that we've learned from, and we're ready to let go. And having that compassion it goes a long way. Because I know I definitely there are moments where I've been really, really hard on myself and really like, you should be more like this. And it's like, wait, who says?
Like, who made these rules? These are really dumb rules. I don't like these rules at all. It's the ego's rules. They're not fun. Let go of them.
So like having compassion for ourselves and each other. We're all on this journey back to our sovereignty, our bodies, our bliss together, and having the compassion for ourselves and each other is a great thing.
I love that. And I'm so, so, so excited for this meditation. So everyone just take some time for yourself right now. If you're catching the replay and you need to pause just to get yourself like in a quiet place, definitely do that. Give yourself this gift. It's going to be this beautiful meditation that will connect us to our womb and our heart. So take it away.
All right. So if you're sitting, you can just stand up a little bit straighter and place your shoulders a little bit back, so your heart and your chest area is open. A lot of the times when we feel sort of, unsafe, or there's something in our heart that we feel tender or fearful around, we will hunch ourselves, or we will hide our hearts. So it's good to have it nice and wide open. You can close your eyes and just feel into the moment for a little bit. And so we're just going to take a nice big deep breath, expanding the belly through the nose and releasing it with a sigh. And so a nice deep breath again, and releasing with a sigh. I really encourage you to make the sound of the sigh to really just taking anything out that you don't need in there. And so we're going to breathe in again. Release with a sigh. Breathe in again. And release with a sigh. And so what I encourage you to do is to place your hands on your heart as you're breathing in and out. And as you breathe in and out, feel your heart and how it beats. Feel the rhythm of how it allows you to experience this life. And as you breathe deeply in and out, just continue focusing on the rhythm of your heart, on this beautiful center that allows you to give and receive love. And as you focus on your heart, how does it feel? Does it feel tender? Does it feel closed? Does it feel light? Does it feel heavy? Does it feel open? Know that however your heart feels right now is perfect. And I want you to send some beautiful love to your heart, to yourself, by saying, I love you, 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 over and over again. And feeling your heart expand with each I love you. I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you. Feel your heart slowly melting with each I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you. Notice yourself softening with each I love you, I love you, I love you. And promising your heart and your love that you give more attention to giving yourself that love. So now we're just going to move your hands. I'm just going to thank the heart. Thank you, thank you. And move your hands slowly down. And so as we slowly move down to the womb area, we're just going to take some deep, deep belly breaths. So we feel our belly expand when we breathe in. And when we breathe out, we feel it get smaller. So I want you, as you connect to your womb, how does it feel for you? Is the energy moving freely? Is there something stuck in there that wants your attention? Our womb area is a place where we're able to express and feel our emotions. It is the place where our creativity lies. It is the place where we're able to access those blissful realms. And so what you can start doing is just slowly rubbing your womb. You can move your hands clockwise or counterclockwise, whatever feels good. Just give it a nice little rub all around your womb. And I want you to send some nice love, just like you did for your heart, to your womb. So you can repeat the mantra, I love you, over and over in your mind, or you can say it out loud if that feels better for you. You say just, I love you, 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 I love you. And you just continue to give your belly, to give your womb a nice rub as you give it the love that it loves and deserves. And now you're going to gently stop the movement of your hands and just breathe in again, nice and deep. Exhale. You feel the light force that resides in your womb, that resides in your belly, the fire for life, the fire to enjoy, the fire to experience all that you're here to experience. Feel it burn in your belly, feel it turn on. And know that that fire is yours. Now we're going to slowly move our body just a little bit, just shaking what could have come up through your hands and just sort of shaking your hands out and giving thanks to your womb, to your heart, by saying a few thank yous. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Now you can slowly open your eyes. Maybe smile a little bit because everything is perfect right here in this moment. You are perfect. You're beautiful and you're whole. And so we can do a little shake.
Awesome. I love that. Thank you so much. And definitely
So
share
you
in the
can come up.
comments how that was for you guys. I'd love to
Yes, I'd
hear.
love to hear. Did any emotions, feelings come up for you, or any kind of like sensations?
A lot of love.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting because I've been working on like balancing my hormones ever since getting off like birth
Mm-hmm.
control beginning of the
Okay.
year. And like the first thing that came up around like my womb was like kind of emptiness. And I'm like, ooh, I want to send it love. And then we're doing the I love you thing again. And it like really built that up. So
Mm-hmm.
then I feel a lot more
Mm-hmm.
full and vibrant there now. And it was
Mm-hmm.
interesting to be like those negative thoughts that I've had around all the birth control bullshit and being put on it since I was young just because I had back pain and stuff like that. Like
Mm-hmm.
all that kind of came up immediately when I like went there and I'm like interesting, like it's just to let go of and be aware of, to heal and fill myself up with love so that I feel fulfilled in all areas. So thank you very much for that. That was very, very
Yeah.
beautiful.
Thank you for sharing. Yeah, that's the birth control is definitely a topic for a lot of women. And
Mm,
you were doing the best that the best that you thought in the moment. Like like
right.
you doing what was best for yourself in that moment, and
Mm,
now you're doing what's best for yourself now by
yes.
releasing the birth control and now getting in tune to your hormones again. And so I really applaud you for
Mm,
that. It's very
thank
beautiful.
you. Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like this is an important thing to bring up for people because it's kind of like in alignment with like who we are and our truths. Like a lot of people have identities with like what they do or don't do. And then if they change it in a year or a month from now or a day from now, they're like, I'm a fraud, I'm a liar, I'm like all these bad things. And they're so hard on themselves, especially internally. Even if they like don't bring it up outside, they just feel like they're a fraud because especially like other light workers and healers who do these things and then something works for them one day and it doesn't the next day. And it's like just letting ourselves be okay with that because there was a point in my life where I was eating junk food all the time and I just thought that that's what it was. And when I got educated on like Boosted and Ensure that has the vitamins in it, I'm like, that was my truth then to be like, oh, I'm eating kind of healthy then. Now I do like green smoothies and I feel really good doing green smoothies and tons of water. And like it's just our truth in the moment and to be okay that it'll shift and change and that sometimes birth control works for people, sometimes it doesn't. Like sometimes they're really working on one area, sometimes they're not. Like you don't need to do anything to be like okay or to like accept yourself. You just love yourself unconditionally and be like, I'm here and I deserve love because I'm here.
Yes, exactly. I love that. And I love that it's like the truth in the moment.
Yes.
Whatever you did, experience that you've had or shame that you blocked off or pain that you haven't felt yourself, haven't allowed yourself to feel, that was your truth in the moment. You were doing what was best for you in that moment. And
Yes.
so, whatever that your life looks like for you, you're doing the best that you can right now, and you're doing the best for you. And so, yeah, to anyone watching, you're doing an amazing, beautiful job. And
Yes. We love you. You're
like,
doing amazing.
you deserve love just as you are right now in this moment. And, yeah.
Awesome. Well, I could talk to you forever and ever, but we can't do the show forever and ever. So how can they connect with you after the show?
You can add me as a friend on Facebook, and I also have a group called the Sensual Empowerment Sisterhood that you can come join. It's fun, and we talk a lot about this stuff. And you could also, if you would like some guidance on, sensual living and really tapping into your body to really feel and experience your true feminine power, because our feminine power is our presence and how we show up proudly in our day. And if you really want to tap into that and would like some guidance, you can book a clarity call with me, and we can see how I can serve you and maybe go through something that you're experiencing right now when it comes to your sensuality or your sexuality and what wants some support. Let's get on a call and we can talk all things that in your life.
Wonderful.
In the comments, and yeah, I look forward
Awesome.
to connecting with you guys.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Yeah, so definitely look for the links afterwards, guys, so that you can just like click on it. Super easy and convenient. And thank you so much for sharing your wisdom with us today, the beautiful meditation. Thank you all for tuning in. Definitely feel free to share it or tag any friends who you feel needed that meditation, need this awareness brought into their lives that they can live an orgasmic, joyful, free, blissful life. And that it's available to them now, that they can just start loving themselves. It's a choice away. We can just decide at any moment to give ourselves more love and to love ourselves. So I really encourage you guys to love yourselves more. Definitely tune into the Love and Light show every week. So that's Monday at 1 Atlantic, 12 Eastern, and 9 Pacific. And I encourage you, if you're feeling called to adding more of that self-love and care into your life, day 1 of the challenge, the 5-day challenge, starts today. So definitely get into the Be Your Best Self group if you're feeling called to adding more love into your life. And I wish you guys a wonderful week, and I'm sending you guys so much love and light. Bye.